I'm Emma, and I never thought I'd be the kind of person telling this story. I used to believe that trust was the foundation of love, that if you gave someone your heart, they'd protect it. But I was wrong, because sometimes the people you trust the most are the ones who hurt you the deepest. This is the story of how I uncovered the truth about my husband, the man I thought I knew better than anyone. Ethan and I had been married for 6 years. He was everything I'd ever wanted, smart, dependable, and the kind of man who could make even the worst days seem brighter. We lived in a cosy little house we'd recently bought together. It wasn't much, but it was ours, and I thought it symbolized everything we were building. A future, a family, a life we could be proud of. Ethan was hard-working, running his own business. I admired his ambition, even if it meant long hours and the occasional weekend trip to meet with clients. I told myself those sacrifices were part of having a partner with big dreams, but looking back, I see how those sacrifices were actually walls, keeping me from seeing what was really happening behind the scenes. It started small, like it always does. Ethan became more protective of his phone. If I reached for it to check the time, he'd casually slide it into his pocket. There were also new habits I couldn't quite place. Extra cologne when he left the house, sudden text messages that made him smile but never prompted an explanation. I told myself I was being paranoid. After all, he was still the man who kissed me on the forehead every morning and brought me coffee in bed on Sundays. But the doubts lingered, no matter how hard I tried to push them away. The tipping point came one afternoon when a delivery arrived. The package was addressed to Ethan, and I didn't think much of it until I noticed the sender's name, Claire. I didn't know any Claire, and judging by the handwriting on the package, it wasn't from a business contact. Curiosity got the better of me. I opened the package. Inside was a small journal along with a note taped to the front. "You left this behind. I thought you'd want it back. Love, Claire." My stomach churned as I flipped through the pages. It wasn't just a journal, it was a diary filled with entries about Ethan. Their time together, their secret weekends, their plans for the future. Every word felt like a slap in the face. How could this be my Ethan? The man who always said he hated secrets, who promised me honesty above all else. But the most devastating part, the final entry. It wasn't months or even weeks old. It was dated 2 days ago. That night, I waited for Ethan to come home. I sat at the kitchen table, the journal in front of me, rehearsing what I'd say. When he walked in, his usual smile faded the moment he saw the look on my face. "What's wrong?" he asked, feigning concern. I didn't answer. Instead, I slid the journal across the table. "Explain this," I said, my voice shaking. He froze, staring at the journal like it was a ticking time bomb. "Emma," he started, "it's not what you think." But it was exactly what I thought. I told him to stop lying, to tell me the truth. Finally, he broke. He admitted it all. Claire wasn't just a fling. She was someone he'd been seeing for over a year. Ethan begged for forgiveness. He said it was a mistake, that it didn't mean anything. But how could I believe him? The journal painted a picture of a man I didn't recognize, a man who wasn't just lying to me, but was building a life with someone else. I spent that night in the guest room, staring at the ceiling, my mind racing with questions. How could I have missed the signs? How long had he been planning to live this double life? By morning, I knew what I had to do. I packed a bag, wrote him a letter explaining why I couldn't stay, and left. Betrayal isn't just about the lies. It's about the way it makes you question everything. Every memory, every laugh, every promise feels tainted. But if there's one thing I've learned, it's that betrayal doesn't define you. It's a chapter in your story, not the ending. Ethan's lies broke us, but they didn't break me. I'm learning to rebuild my life, not just for myself, but for the person I want to be. This was my reality. And maybe if you're listening, it's yours too. But here's what I want you to know. You're stronger than you think.